Alrighty, folks, happy Wednesday to you. And you know I got to give a big shout out to all you Gold Club members out there from my premium page, because you guys cashed in on 7 different premium plays yesterday on my premium site. We certainly had a day. We had the Brewers, Orioles, Phillies, Braves, Reds, Minnesota Lynx, and WNBA. We also hit on a 2-team parlay in baseball. And the only way you could have accessed all of those winners is to join my full access, all-inclusive Gold Club package. Gold Club members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my exclusive Gold Club video each and every day during that time frame. Absolutely free. It's included with your membership. It's also going to put us at 4-0 in our last 4 Gold Club package picks in that membership alone. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to our NFL Week 2 video here today for the 2024 season. Happy Wednesday to you. It's September 11th. We will never forget, never will we, back down. Never forget. And folks, if you're just joining me for the first time here today, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. And once again, folks, we are 4-0 in our last 4 Gold Club package picks. Now, we're also 3-0 in our last 3 chairman plays. And the good news is we've got plays, going off in both of those packages here today on Wednesday. And they are both included with your Gold Club membership. Also, if there are a few games that are missing on the video here today, well, you can see who I'm picking in every single game on the slate, both the side and the total, on my premium site. My written quick pick recap for the entire slate, it is available to Gold Club members. And with that, folks, we're going to dive right into some free content. We're going to start off with this Bills-Dolphins game. That'll be an 8:15 Eastern kickoff on Thursday night. Miami's -1.5 at home, totals 49. And hopefully Miami-Dade doesn't pull over the best player on the field, Tyreek Hill. That was pretty egregious, pretty disgusting. Although Tyreek was a little bit ornery. But I'll tell you what, the second time they slammed him to the ground, that's completely unacceptable. And I'm sure that police department will be getting sued. Now, guys, both squads coming fresh off Week 1 victories. Not going to take anything away from them. Both offenses with their fair share of good stuff happening. Now, for Miami, Tua threw for 338 yards in Week 1. A couple of 100-yard receivers for him, including Tyreek Hill. Meanwhile, Buffalo on the other side, they put up 24 second-half points for a gritty come-from-behind win in, Week 1. Josh Allen completed over 78% of his throws. A couple of rushing TDs on the ground, just being a football player. Now, when it comes to the number, the Bills opener did fly way over the posted total for that game. When it comes to the injury list, we got a handful of guys who are banged up at the moment already on both sides. Dwayne Smoot and Teron Johnson, they've already been ruled out for Buffalo. Ty Johnson and Javon Solomon are questionable at the moment. Meanwhile, for the Fins, Mostert, A-Chain, Washington, Ramsey, and Phillips, they're all listed as questionable for them. When it comes to the weather, got a chance of a shower on Thursday night in South Florida. Of course, this time of year pretty much rains about, once or twice a day down there. But anyway, it should be about 85 degrees by kickoff. Might see a shower. I don't think it's going to be a monsoon. I think, it'll probably move through quick if it does. But I think we're going to see a good amount of points in this one. Don't think the weather's going to affect it much. Give me the over 49. Next game, Browns, Jags, 1 o'clock Sunday. Jacksonville's -3, totals 42. And we definitely have 2 teams who struggled offensively in Week 1. Jacksonville gave up a couple of sacks. Actually, just 12 of 21 for Trevor Lawrence for $162. Meanwhile, for Cleveland on the other side, Deshaun Watson, he threw for just $169. He got sacked 6 times. O-line, had all kinds of problems with Dallas, with that pass rush. Of course, Watson does run himself into sacks. He's done that an awful lot. Plus, who knows with his status? He's, got another complaint against him. I don't know if it was harassment or a rub and tug. I'm not sure what it was. But this guy is probably going to be exiled from the NFL here pretty soon. I can't imagine they're going to want to deal with this jabroni. But anyway, total-wise, the Jags Week 1 matchup with Miami did fall under the posted number. When it comes to the injury list, Daniel Thomas is questionable for Jacksonville. Tyson Campbell's doubtful. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, Hewlett, Njoku, Fields, Emerson, Hurst, Diabate, Conklin, and Wills, they're all week-to-week for them. Now, weather-wise, similar to Miami on Thursday, well, it could be a wet one here on Sunday in Jacksonville. Looks like they're expecting at least one shower for the next 7 days straight. It's going to be a pretty rainy week for those folks down in Jacksonville. That said, though, I think rain or shine, both offenses could still have problems moving the football. I don't think the rain will help matters, but give me the under 42. All right, next matchup, Colts, Packers, 1 o'clock Eastern start time. Indianapolis is -4, totals 41. And, obviously this Colts defense had their hands full with Houston in Week 1. It was actually 417 yards they allowed in the opener. And even though Jordan Love could be a late scratch here for Green Bay, it was actually the Packers' running game that had a lot of success against the Eagles last week. And of course, they were playing on that horrible turf down there, so they probably could have ran better on, better playing surfaces. But Josh Jacobs, he averaged 5.3 yards a carry against the Birds. And if for some reason Jordan Love can't suit up Sunday, which I actually don't think he will. I think he's really banged up. I do not foresee him shooting up. But listen, when he gets scratched, or if he gets scratched, you'll probably see a little better line for the Packers by kickoff. I can't really see Green Bay taking a lot of money here, especially if Love, gets, scratched. And like I said in my Gold Club video last week, I still don't trust Anthony Richardson yet. He went just 9 of 19 in the pocket last week. He threw an interception. I just don't think there's enough big game experience for a guy like him. He's made like 17 official starts at quarterback since high school. Really kind of a bizarre, quirky trend there. Once again, I feel like this Indy defense could let these guys down Sunday. When it comes to the injury list, Mosby and Lloyd are questionable for Green Bay. Obviously, Jordan Love's status in the air, although, like I said, I'm not highly optimistic he'll play. Now, for the Colts on the other side, Downs and Buckner are questionable for them. Looks like the kicker has a hernia as well, so we'll have to see if the Colts try out a few kickers this week. Now, weather-wise, 75 degrees and cloudy at kickoff at Lambeau. Slight chance of a shower during the game as well. When it comes to the total, I think some sloppy defense and a lot of square action are a prime recipe for an over. The second Jordan Love gets scratched, that total is going to move down. But listen, we got two defenses who were porous in Week 1. And we got two teams who saw their games fly over the total respectively. Give me Green Bay +4 over 41. Next matchup here, Raiders, Ravens, 1 o'clock East. Baltimore's -9.5, totals 42. And for me, this feels like a great bounce back spot for Baltimore. They got clipped by the two-time champs, and listen, the Chiefs had an entire offseason to prepare for him. Andy Reid does well coming off bye weeks. Well, he had an entire offseason to prepare for Baltimore. So that was a really tough spot for the Ravens. And they literally missed out on tying the game by half a toe. Likely's toe was barely on the line. But I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, the Ravens were still able to gain over 450 total yards of offense against Kansas City. Lamar Jackson was sacked only one time in that game. So even though that game felt sloppy, and a lot of Week 1 games were, a lot of good stuff happened for Baltimore offensively. Isaiah Likely had a great game. And they get to face a Raiders franchise who, in my opinion, they're seemingly in shambles right now. I don't think there's a lot of great leadership there. They weren't overly competitive against their divisional rivals, the Chargers in week 1. They rushed for just 3.2 yards a carry, and the Raiders' top receiver had only 61 yards through the air. Now, even worse for the Raiders, they actually showed little ability to slow down the run on defense. And, that could mean big problems for them this week. They allowed 6.5 yards a carry against the Chargers. And the Ravens, man, you got Henry, you got Lamar. These guys run the ball. They pound it. Now, injury-wise, Kyle Van Noy, he fractured his orbital bone in the game last Thursday. Officially listed as questionable, although I have no clue how he's going to play through that. I don't think Kyle Van Noy is going to suit up, but he has not been scratched yet. Meanwhile, for Vegas, Wilson, Eichenberg, Richardson, and Jackson Powers-Johnson, they are all week to week for them. Now, sunny weather-wise, mostly sunny and hot by game time. Going to be over 80 degrees by kickoff in Baltimore. When it comes to the total, I'm just not sure the Raiders are going to have enough juice to put this one over. As a matter of fact, both teams saw their week 1 contests fall under the line respectively. Give me the Ravens minus 9.5, under 42. Next matchup, Chargers, Panthers. That's going to be a 1 o'clock Eastern start time in Carolina. 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff. LA's minus 6 on the road, totals 39.5. And, I can't see the Panthers, scoring many points in this one. Who the hell in the front office got swindled into giving this quarterback money? He's 5'9". There's no chance he's 200 pounds. He's probably about $170. And listen, he certainly played like it on Sunday. He played like a kid. He played like a small guy. Completed only 43% of his throws, got sacked 4 times, threw a pair of interceptions against the Saints, lined up under the guard one time. His running back had to move him over. And I'll tell you what, even more disastrous was the Carolina run game. Miles Sanders was the team leader in rushing yards with 22 total yards. And they're going to face a Charger defense who actually held Las Vegas to just 3.2 yards a carry last week. And I'll tell you, that pass rush looked pretty, ferocious. 4 total sacks on the afternoon for the Chargers. Now, injury-wise, LA, relatively healthy at the moment. Tarheeb is still day-to-day. But that's about it for, week 1 for them. Now, for the Panthers on the other side, Brown and Tremble are questionable for them. When it comes to the weather, could have a sloppy one in Charlotte Sunday. That might help out the Panthers, or it might really hurt them. I don't know. But Bryce Young's hands are probably smaller than mine. But anyway, 77 cloudy, chance of rain Sunday in Charlotte. When it comes to the total, the Panthers miscues definitely caused their game to fly over the total in week 1, and I think we'll probably see more of the same this week with this low posted total. Give me the Chargers minus 6 over 39.5. All right, next game, Saints, Cowboys, 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff. Dallas is minus 6.5, totals 45 and a hook. And I'll tell you, a lot of good stuff out of both squads in week 1. Cowboys put up, 33 points, 34 points? They put up over 30 points in the opener, and I'll tell you, they wreaked havoc on that defense. Lawrence and Kendricks had a pair of sacks each. Of course, Micah Parsons continues to terrorize offenses. There's a lot of stuff. I said it last week in our Gold Club video. Micah Parsons does a lot of stuff that doesn't go into the stat book, right? He's a disruptor. Now, for New Orleans on the other side, Derek Carr was nearly perfect on the day last week. 83% passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Now, injury-wise, Patrick, Moreau, Lattimore, Ford, Hooker, Jackson, Perry, and Saunders. They're all listed as questionable for the Saints. Meanwhile, for Dallas, Ferguson and Stevens are questionable for them. Now, folks, if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the money line total or against the point spread in this one, this game is being featured as one of my NFL tier package picks on my premium site. All right, next matchup, Giants, Commanders. That should be a good one. That is going to be a 1 o'clock Eastern start time. And Washington is the 1.5 point favorite at home. Total's 44. And man, do I have a little faith in both of these offenses. Daniel Jones, let's just be clear, guys. Let's be honest. Daniel Jones is not a professional quarterback. He's not. Let's accept it. And I think everybody has. This is not a professional quarterback. And, Washington on the other side, they didn't really throw to the receivers last week. Out of 17 completions by Jaden Daniels on Sunday, only 7 of those completions actually went to wide receivers. Everything else went to running backs and tight ends. And I'll tell you what, as bad as Daniel Jones was, the Giants' leading rusher on Sunday gained just 37 yards on the ground. So these guys didn't do anything. They didn't throw it. They didn't run it. They didn't block anybody. It was complete collapse. So Daniel Jones, not a professional quarterback. Can't be all on him, though, because teams with bad quarterbacks, good teams with bad quarterbacks, still find ways to win. The Giants are just in shambles right now. Now, injury-wise, Slayton and McLeod are questionable. Olszewski's out. Meanwhile, for the Commanders, Forbes and Newton are week-to-week for them. When it comes to the weather, hot and sunny in the nation's capital. Should be about 80 degrees by game time. Give me the under, 44. All right, next matchup, Jets, Titans, 1 o'clock East. The Jets are -4 on the road. Total's 42. And I just don't think the Jets should be laying any type of points on the road yet this year. They showed little ability to move the ball on the ground. Breece Hall had 54 yards on 16 touches last week. And passing-wise, Aaron Rodgers looked slow and old under center. It wasn't moving well, wasn't moving out of the pocket well. Threw for just $167, and I get it, right? San Francisco's great. It's a great team, but if you're going to compete, if you're going to be a playoff team, you got to compete with teams like San Francisco and give yourself a chance to win. It was a pretty thorough, I don't want to say drubbing, but San Francisco handled New York pretty well in that game. And unfortunately for the Jets, they're facing a Titans team who actually dominated the Bears Sunday. If you didn't watch the game, you have no idea what really happened. The Titans dominated these guys. There were 3 fluke plays that the Bears scored all their points on. It was a kick block, pick six, and I think a kick return. They got it all done on special teams. And I'll tell you, Tennessee's defense, they held Chicago to just 64 yards in the air and 148 yards total. Chicago couldn't do anything against these guys. And obviously, right now, by the numbers, Tennessee, they've got the best defense in the league. Now, talent-wise, they don't. I understand that. But numbers-wise, they have the best defense in the league. Gave up the fewest amount of yards. Now, offensively, I know they didn't do a lot right, but the Titans did run the ball well. They averaged 5.4 yards a carry on the ground. The reason why I'm saying all this is that the Titans aren't completely helpless. I mean, they played, I don't want to say a complete game because special teams failed them, but these guys really dominated Chicago on defense. Now, injury-wise, Reese, Adams, and Ray Duns are questionable for Tennessee. Michael Carter questionable for the Jets. And when it comes to the total, the Titans did see their opener stay under the posted total. And let's be fair, I also think both offenses will struggle in this one. Now, weather-wise, 80 degrees and a possible shower in Nashville on Sunday. I think the Titans can keep it within a score. Give me Tennessee +4, under 42. All right, next game, Niners, Vikings, 1 o'clock East. San Francisco's the 6-point favorite on the road. Total's 45.5. And the Niners were as advertised on Monday night. And they even got it done without Christian McCaffrey. They ran it really well with the backup. Always had guys open when they threw it. And, of course, on the defensive end, they smothered the Jets. They didn't let them run on them. And of course, they're facing a Vikings squad who was relatively untested in week one against the Giants. Like, I get you can't control your schedule, and they did take care of business, but man, facing the Giants, that's really not getting you prepared for a team like San Francisco. So listen, there's not a ton to nitpick about when it comes to Minnesota, but they did fail to get a 100-yard receiver on Sunday. Justin Jefferson did lead the charge with just 59 yards receiving. So you'd like to see a weapon like that get involved a little bit more in a nice victory. But I guess when you're dominating your opponent that bad, you don't really need to burn out your star. But I'm sure that was quite disappointing for a lot of fantasy folks. Now, injury-wise, Jordan Addison, questionable for the Vikes. TJ Hawkinson, most likely out to the bye week. And for San Francisco, McCaffrey, Hufanga, Banks, Winters, and Gross Matos are week-to-week for them. Now, total-wise, I actually think the Niners, really in any game this year, they have the ability to put this one over. They have the ability to put any total over. And, of course, their week one matchup did fly over the number. Give me San Francisco, -6, over 45.5. Next game, Seahawks, Patriots, 1 o'clock Eastern start. Seattle's -4, totals 38. And I'll tell you, it's going to be hot and sunny in Foxborough Sunday. 85 degrees by game time. When it comes to the injury list, C.D. Sal, he's questionable for the Pats. Fant, Nwosu, Walker, and Brown are questionable for the Seahawks. And if you want to see what I'm picking on the side and the total in this one, you'll have to check out my written quick pick recap on my premium page. It's available to Gold Club members only. I give you a play on the side and the total for that game, but you got to be a Gold Club member. All right, next matchup here. What we got? Bucks, Lions, 1 o'clock East. Detroit's the 7-point favorite. Total's 51. And I'll tell you, both squads looked real good offensively in week one. Jamison Williams, he was a 100-yard receiver for Detroit. David Montgomery with 5.4 yards a carry on the ground. I watched that game, that Lions game, at a local pub, and this is how tone deaf some small businesses are. They turned the game off in the fourth quarter. They didn't even let us finish. I mean, what is wrong with people? I mean, first of all, what's wrong with me? I should be on the couch for 15 hours Sunday, not moving. But, sometimes I can be a social butterfly. So I watched all the games all day long, but I watched them in different locations. The 1 o'clock games were at home. The 4 o'clock games were at the cigar bar, and then the night game was at a local watering hole. So, but anyway, they turned the game off. But anyway, I was able to get back home in time to finish it. But anyway, for Tampa Bay on the other side, sorry, rambling there a little bit. Tampa Bay on the other side, hey, can't take nothing away from him. Baker Mayfield looked really good, completed 80% of his passes, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Really looks like he's enjoying football. I think he loves it down there, and I think his teammates like playing with him. And it feels like this is the first time out of, 4 teams that he feels at home. So good for him, and good for the guy for not quitting and giving up on his dream. I mean, he's playing his best football right now as a seasoned veteran. Now, injury-wise, McCollum, Hayes, and Winfield are questionable. Meanwhile, for Detroit, Melifonwu, Reeder, and Strickland are week-to-week. When it comes to the total, Tampa's game against Washington went 16 points above the posted number. Give me the over 51. And like I said, folks, if I don't give you a pick on every single game here, you can find a pick on every single game on my premium site for Gold Club members. All right, next matchup, getting into this 4 o'clock slate here, Rams-Cardinals, little divisional action here. I almost said NL West. That's baseball, but similar concept, NFC West, and that'll be a 4:05 Eastern kickoff. Now, Arizona's the 1-point favorite at home, totals 49, and obviously I have concerns about this Arizona defense. They allowed a bunch of points to Buffalo, which isn't hard to do, but they gave up like all of them in the second half. What was it, 24 points they scored in the second half? Completely blew a lead. And they got to face Matthew Stafford this week. And, Stafford, he threw for 317 against the Lions. Of course, he had a 100-yard receiver in Cooper Kupp. The Lions aren't no slouch. I don't know if you guys remember, they made it to the NFC Championship last year and should have won. Should have won that game. DC, getting a little bit crazy with the aggressiveness. But anyway, injury-wise, Puka Nacua is out for the Rams. Durant, Noteboom, Dotson, and Avila are questionable. Meanwhile, for Arizona on the other side, Williams, Melton, and Weaver are week to week for them. When it comes to the total, the Cards saw their opener fly 17 points above the posted number. Give me the Rams +1 over 49. All right, next game, Bengals Chiefs, 425 East. KC's -6 at Arrowhead. Nice spot for them, opening up the year with 2 home games. Totals 48.5. And I'll tell you what, I strongly advise you to take advantage of this number if you can, because I got to imagine this one will be close to around 8.5 by game time. I think we're going to see a lot of money coming in on KC. And as usual, I said it earlier, when Andy Reid has an extended period of time to prepare for you, he's going to bury you just like he did last week. So I'm not saying he's had extra time here, but, the Chiefs looked exquisite in their win against a dangerous Baltimore team. Don't think that Baltimore's a bad team. Baltimore is dangerous. Baltimore is going to win a lot of games. And KC, just looked awesome against them. Patty Mahomes completed over 71% of his throws, 291 yards. And Rashee Rice, he had a 100-yard game himself. Now, on the other side, I don't know what's going on with this guy. Obviously, it looked like his hand was busted up. I don't know if maybe he broke something, jammed something. But even when he's mostly healthy, although he might not have been healthy, I'm talking about Joe Burrow, by the way. He might not have been healthy for the last couple of seasons, but I don't think Joe Burrow and the Bengals have the ability to outduel Mahomes. They can't throw it, they can't protect the quarterback, and they can't run. Burrow threw for just $164 in the opener, and their highest rusher had 44 yards on the ground. And I'll tell you what, because we're seeing these 2 quarterbacks squaring off here, I think you're going to see a lot of square money going on the over. So be cautious of that. Both teams saw their week ones stay under the line, depending on where you shopped at. Now, injury-wise, Brown is questionable. Edwards-Helaire probably out as well. That's kind of a weird thing with him. They're kind of doing to him like they did to Tony, I believe. For Cincy on the other side, Mims, Jenkins, and Higgins are questionable for them. When it comes to the weather, hot and sunny in KC by game time. Give me the Chiefs -6, under 48.5. Next matchup, Steelers, Broncos, 425 East. Pittsburgh's 3.5, totals 37. And doesn't look like we're getting a Russell versus Broncos match here. Looks like we're seeing Fields. Now, listen, both quarterbacks, significant struggles in week 1. Justin Fields couldn't take a snap under center. He kept fumbling snaps under the center. He's so used to going in the gun his entire career, high school, college, pros. He struggled taking snaps under center. And, of course, Bo Nix looked like a rookie. So if you want to see whether I have a play, listen, if you want to see a play on the side and the total in this game, you can do that by reading my written quick pick recap on my premium site. It's available exclusively to Gold Club members. All right, let's see here. Next game, Bears-Texans, 8:20 Sunday night. Houston's -6, totals 46. And, man, listen, I'm telling you, this is a tough spot for the Bears to be in. We've clearly seen they can't move the football. They really have no clue what they're doing on offense. They're completely in disarray. And you're going to have to outduel C.J. Stroud, who continues to impress me. I mean, I'm loving this guy right now. I'd be hard-pressed to say this isn't the most dangerous quarterback in the league. I mean, this guy, preparing for him's got to be a nightmare. He's an incredible professional quarterback. This guy belongs here, and he's going to thrive here. He completed 75% of his throws Sunday against the Colts. Couple of touchdowns, no picks, protecting the football, doing everything right, making the right decisions. And I'll tell you, what the Texans did, which was extremely complimentary, they ran the football, and they did it well. And they were committed to doing it. Joe Mixon had 30 carries on the afternoon, 40 total runs for the Texans Sunday. They actually ran it more than they threw it. Mixon actually gained 159 total yards on the ground for 5.3 yards a carry. And I'll tell you, they're facing a Browns defense who, they couldn't beat themselves out of a wet paper bag. They actually allowed 5.4 yards a carry against the Browns played Cowboys. They struggled. I'm sorry, not Browns. Bears. I'm trying to think, who are we talking about here? They're facing a Bears defense who allowed 5.4 yards a carry against the Titans. They struggled a bit defending the run in that game, and of course, offensively, the Bears' performance was disgraceful. I hated it. It was disgusting to watch. Caleb Williams went 14 of 29 for 93 yards, no scores, but at least his nails looked good. So you think, well, this guy, he's young, he's struggling. His nails look great, but he can't move the football. Hey, maybe let's run the ball. He's a young guy. Let's establish a run game. Nah, they didn't do any of that. DeAndre Swift, he led the offense with 30 total yards on the ground. So that was an incredibly lucky team who could very well get run out of the building Sunday night. Now, injury-wise, Rome Odunze is questionable for the Bears. Zach Pickens week to week as well. We offer Houston, Stewart, and Okudah are questionable for them. When it comes to the total, the Texans do have the ability to put this one over themselves. And obviously, their week one matchup got over the posted number. Give me Houston -6 over 46. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Falcons-Eagles game. And that'll be in 8:15 Eastern kickoff on Monday night. Philadelphia is -6 at the link. Total's 47. And I think this is just a bad spot for the Falcons here. They're looking to bounce back on the road after a 10-point performance in Atlanta. And, kind of looks like Kirk Cousins may not be that, savior everyone was touting in the offseason. Maybe there's a reason why they drafted Michael Penix. It was actually just 16 completions for Cousins, 137 total yards through the air. As a veteran quarterback, a veteran guy who's seen a lot of action in the league, you got to do better than that going up against a Steelers team who started Justin Fields. So you're going to have to score more points when you play Philly. The Birds put up 410 total yards on Friday night in Brazil on an unplayable surface. And, ultimately, I just think there's a disparaging gap of talent between these organizations. Now, injury-wise, Rodgers and White are questionable for Philly. Hamilton's week-to-week for Atlanta. When it comes to the weather, 70 degrees and mostly clear at kickoff in South Philly. Give me the Eagles -6. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap. I like the over 49 in the Buffalo-Miami game. Give me the under 42 in the Cleveland-Jacksonville game. Green Bay Packers +4 over 41. Ravens -9.5 under 42. Chargers -6 over 39.5. I have no free pick available for you in the Saints-Cowboys game. I like the under 44 in the Giants-Commanders game. Titans +4 under 42. San Francisco -6 over 45.5. No free pick, Seattle, New England. I like the over 51 Buccaneers-Lions game. Rams +1 over 49. Chiefs -6 under 48.5. No free pick in the Steelers-Broncos game. Houston -6 over 46. And give me the Eagles -6, getting the job done against the number. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, Just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your membership. That's why I was telling folks, that Gold Club package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my exclusive Gold Club video each and every day during that time frame. Absolutely free. It's included with your membership. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.